Okay, well, let's start off with maybe introducing ourselves. I'm Dan Coven,
And Larry Rawling.
and we're here starting off our CR Rides videos.
This actually started about 20 years ago when I met Dan. I was looking for somebody to do some patch panels on a little 38 Ford coupe that I had, and we were introduced by a mutual friend, and that started a friendship over the years, and we built a number of cars together. Dan and I are completely different in our philosophy. I get a car and I'll fix it up and I'll flip it. Dan has the same car he had in high school, so he's not a big flipper of cars. He's moved a lot of cars, but he also is sentimental and hangs on to them. But I think the friendship started over just the interest in cars and his skill sets, and you know, as I said, we built some cars together. So we'd like to just kind of give you a little bit of background on some of the things that we've done together.
Yeah, and it was really kind of an interesting meeting that we finally got together on, because it was several weeks, maybe months, that this mutual friend tried to get us together, and I was kind of
Didn't want to do it.
yeah, I was kind of against it. I was trying to get my stuff done and whatnot, and finally, I just out of peer pressure, I told the guy, yeah, I'll go over and see him. So I went over there, and Larry opens up his garage, and here's this 38 Ford sitting there. It was completely acid dip, completely clean. And we started talking. He started showing me all the patch panels and everything. It just had everything for it. And it's like, all right, I'll go ahead and put them in for you. And Larry was great. He wanted to be a piece of it, but he didn't really know a lot. He's worked on cars a lot and flipped them, like he was saying, and done a lot of engine swaps and all that kind of stuff, but never really in the fabrication end, which is where I was at.
Yeah, Dan had really strong skill sets in that. I knew that he'd worked on a number of cars doing patch panels and things, and actually he taught me how to weld. I mean, I knew a little bit about it, but so we've had this running joke since we've known each other over the last 20 years, and we built a car trailer together, and I was worried about how I was welding, and he said, you know what? He said, there isn't anything you're going to screw up that I can't fix. And so that's been kind of the joke for the last 20 years. If I get started on something and I can't get it done, Dan will come fix it for me. So he's the fix guy. A lot of skills, a lot of, and the fun thing about it, we think alike. You know, we like all kinds of cars. I mean, from the point that he owns a Rambler, we have a Studebaker, we have a DeSoto, we have a Willys pickup, we have several Chevys, we have, you know, we've done Anglias, we've done all kinds of things over the years. And so we're interested in all kinds of cars, probably more in, you know, from, let's say, the late 60s down to the, you know, we just sold a 28 Plymouth coupe that we had. And so, yeah, we're interested in all kinds of cars. But what we're going to do with this CR Rides is just kind of show you what we are doing and some of the things we're interested in, and how we do it, and some of the skill sets that Dan has. And you know, I have a lot of crazy ideas that he can implement, so that makes it fun. You know, so it's really just an introduction, and I hope that you enjoy what you see.
Yeah, and you know, we'll just do whatever comes off, and maybe, you know, whatever you guys want us to do. You know, show you something or whatever. I mean, we're by far no experts on building hot rods. We just build them the way we want to build them, and make them look the way we want. And you know, sometimes we tear them back down to,
Yeah.
you know, and start over, because it's just not what we.
Well, I think one of the things that we want to make sure is that they're safe. You know, and And we call things, you know, the rat rod is kind of a name that people put on a lot of stuff. And I tell everybody, you know, I don't want to have to get a tetanus shot to ride in something, you know, and so we don't like all pokey stuff and things like that, but there is a place for it, and it's interesting, and some of it's really cool stuff. We like to grab ideas from different people and the way things are put together. We watch a lot of other videos out there, a lot of other YouTube, read a lot of magazines, a lot of articles, go to a lot of car shows, swap meets. You know, we've done a lot of that just to see what the trend is and see what we like. And you know, today we're working on, last night we worked on a 41 Willys pickup that's sitting behind us, and it's
Kind of see it over there.
Yeah, it's sitting on a S10 frame. We've narrowed the frame down in the back. We've put a rack and pinion steering on it. We've channeled the body down over the frame. It's got an LS motor in it, and that's kind of the way I'm going to go on that one. And then beside us, Dan's got a 28 DeSoto pickup, and we can maybe swing around. Let me swing around and show that to you real quick. And little 28 DeSoto pickup, kind of cool. It's got a Hemi in it, and but this is built from a 4-door sedan. So he's putting floors in it now, and you know, we're going to probably show you some of that stuff a little bit later on, but you know, lots of just interesting things. I think the biggest challenge that we have is that we have full-time jobs, right? Other than this is our interest, but we have full-time jobs, and so we have to do it as a hobby and spend a lot of late nights out here in the shop, and you know, so but this is a pretty fully equipped shop. It's got a powder coating booth that you can get a frame in. It's got a paint booth, a big paint booth on it. It's got all kinds of big metalworking presses and brakes, and we've got shears and bead rollers and all kinds of good tools, lathes, and you know, several welders. And so what Dan does professionally is construction, heavy construction, metalwork and fabrication, those type of things. And I'm retired, so I get to watch him do all this stuff. But, yeah, but it's been fun. The relationship's good, you know, and so again, we'll show you some of the things that we're doing, and we'll put together some, and we kind of jump all over the place because our interests are always out there. You know, I just sold a little 59 Chevy Apache pickup that I bought. I actually bought it from the original owners just a year or so ago, and we sold that one, and then I found this Willys in southern Utah, and I grabbed it. It's all steel, all there. It's, you know, when you look at them, they're rough. I mean, they're, you know, 41 years. That's quite old. You know, it's almost 80 years old. Well, it is 80 years old now.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's not perfect, but it's there. And again, Dan says there isn't anything that you're going to screw up that I can't fix. So I'm showing him the patch panels that need to be done on this, and we're going to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, another thing that we'd like to do is, you know, get younger people involved, you know, because it is fun. You know, we stay out here for hours, you know, working on these cars and everything. And it's just real fun to get in there. And then once you get a project done, or you get a section of the car done, say putting your floorboards in, you know, and you can kind of like stand back and look at this, and it's like, wow, I just got a new floorboard. That thing was so rusty you couldn't even, you know, you could see the grass growing underneath it. And then it's like a brand new car. And it's you know, pleasing to see that.
Yeah, we're not above buying patch panels, but we also have the skill sets to make patch panels and make floors and things. And sometimes it doesn't make sense if it's a production where he's working on a 56 Chevy right now, going to make a gasser out of it. The floor's pretty well gone, he could build a floor, but he can also
Right.
buy the floor, you know, and so the amount of time that you'd save to buy it, it makes sense to go ahead and buy it but put it in. It takes some skill sets, obviously, to put it in. But we were talking earlier that, you know, when we were young, probably like a lot of you that are watching this, when you were young, we worked in high school to be able to get a car. And I have a grandson that could care less if he owned a car, you know,
Right.
so he wants a phone, and that's the most important thing to him. So it's generations have changed, and as Dan said, we're hoping that young people will be interested in some of this that we're doing, and you know, it's a skill set that if you have it, you'll never, you know, you can always use it throughout your life. You know, whether you're have a breakdown alongside the road or somebody else does, or you're mechanically inclined, always helps in different skill sets that you're going to do in life. So hopefully, you know, as we go forward with this, it's going to be, you know, as we said, we're not professionals, but you know, it's just a good way to get ourselves introduced out there. We're not really looking to do outside work right now, although that's how this whole thing started.
Right.
Dan wasn't looking to do any outside work, and since then he's touched every car I've owned, I think. So, yeah, and you know, so that's the fun part of doing what we're doing. I like to take things that are a little bit rough and make them nice, and Dan has the same idea. You know, that if you have your skill set that you have and ideas that you have and put those to use, you can take something that somebody else wouldn't even look at, and you know, it'll be winning shows. And so, yeah.
Yeah, it's just part of our life, and it's been part of our life as long as I can remember. And same with Larry. We've sat and talked about our different stories, you know, throughout the years and everything about, you know, what cars we had and what we were doing, and you know, all kinds of things, and it was pretty much the same.
And we were joking. I said I counted one night how many cars I owned since my first car until today. And I said, Dan, I think I've owned 57 cars. And he kind of looked at me and he said, I just hauled 27 cars off from my lot here, so I don't think I'm going to get ahead of him. But yeah, I like cars. I don't have the facility to hold on to all the ones I'm interested in. Like all of us, if we had our original car from high school, how cool that would be. And a lot of people, you know, that's what they look for when they look for a car, something that they had in high school, or maybe something their parents had that they remember. And you know, if you're living in a subdivision, you don't have space to do that. Dan's lucky that he is more out in the country and he's got some space, and if he wants to bring a car in and, you know, pull a motor for another project or something, he has the space to do it, plus the shop to do it. Just put in a big overhead crane, and you know, it's really, really nice to have the tools and the skill sets, the space, all of the things that come with this. This may not be a hobby that everybody can do at the level that we're doing it, but everybody
Exactly.
typically can have a garage, you know, and just start there. You know, if you're interested in it, jump in. There's no better way to learn how to weld than get a little welder. You know, you can buy them really reasonable at several places and get a couple of pieces of metal and start welding it together, and pretty quick your skills will come up for sure.
Yeah.
And you know, it's really nice to have somebody though that can lean over your shoulder and say, yeah, you're going too fast, or slow down a little bit, or put more heat to it, or, you know, watch what you're doing. But anyway, just a quick introduction to what we're doing. We're gonna get some pictures of past cars that we've done, and we'll post those and do a little collage so you can see what we've done over the years, and you know, we'll go forward with projects we got around the shop now.
And then we'll try to videotape as much as we can on the projects. And like Larry said, they're probably going to be broken up, because we jump from one car to the other quite a bit, and you know, which, you know, try to get a lot of them. Right now, I think we got, what do we got? 4 or 5 cars in the shop that we're working on.
That doesn't include all of the ones he has outside.
You're right. We got some waiting. I still got the 56 Chevy is still sitting on the trailer. And it's been on there for 2-3 weeks, something like that.
Yeah, 3 weeks or so. Yeah, I've got a car in the upholstery shop right now, a 33 Ford that's getting the upholstery done, a little coupe that Dan and I built. And I always tell everybody jokingly, if you ever need a place to store a car, take it to an upholstery shop, because it's been in there probably almost a year now. And luckily I've got other things I'm working on, and I do need the space, so that's been okay. But I'm supposed to be done at the end of this month, and so we'll go pick that up, and we'll get you some pictures of it. It's a nice little coupe.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's kind of conclude this section here.
Just an introduction, let you know a little bit about what we're doing, and we'll keep these things going. We have a in-house editor, so they can help us get this edited a little bit better, so it's a little cleaner. But for now, we're happy that you're tuning in and get to see what we're doing, and hope you stay on track with us and are interested in some of the things, the skill sets we have, and some of the things we can show you.
Yeah.
Okay, take care.
Yep. Bye.